What happens when you purify your body, your mind, your spirit? Something miraculous. The body begins to heal itself. Welcome to the Medicine Girl podcast, where each week we explore new ways to heal your body from the root, igniting your inner healer. You are a medicine. And now, here's your host, Robin Stebbins.
Hello and welcome to the Medicine Girl podcast. It is me, your host, Robin Stebbins, and today I am here with Inesa with Nesa's hemp products. And I'm just going to give a little bit of background on you and what you stand for. I'm so excited to talk to you more because I think we're so in alignment, especially about my one rule, which is you don't interfere with Mother Nature. So a little bit more about Inesa. She is a visionary and founder of Nesa's Hemp, the first ever full spectrum CBD oil that was created through a unique process that she developed herself that preserves all the healing components of the hemp plant, which is what I am all about. I don't recommend anything that doesn't completely honor nature and the plant. Her journey to finding hemp and CBD began about 5 years ago when her mom was diagnosed with cancer and was given 6 months to live. So she was heartbroken, but determined to find a solution, traveled the world on a mission to overcome her mom's health condition. And she discovered hemp, and known to be quite the miracle plant, which I have done quite a bit of research on it as well. And she met the leading CBD producers in the United States and realized that none of them had a high quality hemp product. No surprise there. But she knew what to do. Facing the challenges, she was able to create a product for her mom and subsequently other people around the world. And not only that, but it's an effective health solution to a lot of what ails us in this modern world. So welcome to the Medicine Girl podcast, Inesa. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while now.
Thank you so much for having me here today and educating people. It's absolutely probably the most powerful thing we can do for each other. So I'm looking forward to empower all of your listeners with absolute but nothing and big knowledge. I'm here for.
Excellent. Okay, well, the first thing I want to get into is the primary reason that you're on this podcast. I don't promote products. I don't monetize my podcast. I have this podcast because I feel like this burning desire to let people know there's a question to be asked and a choice to be made. And when we just simply turn on the boob tube and look at advertisements, we're not getting the whole picture. So what I would like to say is hemp is not all created equal. You go in and people say, go get a CBD oil, you have knee pain or back pain. But they're not all created equal. Is that a fair thing to say?
It is fair, and it's very still, I would say, outside look. There's way deeper information why it's happening this way. And it's not just created equally, it's actually a drug. And CBD is a drug by design, and CBD doesn't even exist on the plant. So there's so much misinformation, and it's so deep where if you want to understand anything about this plant, you're going to still face these 99% of the people out there who's promoting the same information that are being said by the big agenda and the people who really control the world and your health at the same time. So in order to know the truth behind standing in science and what's going on, you really have to take absolutely different routes and dig in deep. Because information is simply not available. So that's what I said. I'm super excited to educate people what some of them might be shocking information for them but it's nothing but the truth, and it's God's truth. It's nature's truth. So I'm here just to speak what the nature has to offer for us.
Yeah, I think that's so important to say, because those of us that are speaking our truth, I've been in healthcare for 35 years and have been trying to speak the truth for that entire time about the pharmaceuticals and the medical industry. They don't do anything that doesn't create downstream customers. So they don't put anything in a pill or an injection or an inhalation that doesn't make you ultimately worse and make them ultimately more money. That's just the system. And I think when you understand that, then you're more empowered to make informed decisions. But like you said, you cannot just go and Google how to find good hemp. You're going to get the same rhetoric that everyone else is trying to control you with. So first of all, tell us the truth about what hemp is and what CBD oil is and the way it's grown and why it matters to find a good source.
Yes, that's one of my favorite questions. So thank you for that. And before I'm going to get into my question, I just want to say I'm also very selective who I talk to, and applaud you for being in 35 years in the medical industry, recognizing that system is so broken and having these guts to stand up for yourself and leave your secure financial situation, your income and everything, your position. And I'm sure everybody loves you for being in a medical system, but you don't understand what's really going on behind the scenes. So it takes very special human being and the burning desire to do what's right for people to leave the system. Because I faced a lot of doctors, as someone who works with cancers all day long, I faced a lot of very professional people, and I simply asked them to raise their hand who's ready to leave the system, and you would be surprised, the room is always empty. Not single one of them. They want to stick with the comfort, they want to stick with the system, even they know they're doing wrong, they still want to stick with that system. So it takes very special human beings. So thank you for being special, and I'm so excited to share the question you just asked me to. So most important, I would like to break it down in a very simple way, and I'm sure some information will be familiar to you, but audience is really good to know for them. What government is doing right now by not legalizing hemp in the federal level, it's simply crime against humanity. And I will share that in a second why. Let's make it very simple, not turn into the science and weeds, just where people can understand that you like it or you don't. All of us are born, it's called endocannabinoid system. So that means you have no choice. Just the way you have your heart, the way you have your vision, you have your lips, you have your receptors in your body, that's the exact same way you're developed by God, but it's called endocannabinoid system. So endocannabinoid system is actually responsible, is like these receptors all over your body, including your brain, are responsible to create these, let's put it that way, cannabinoids, right? It's just a little bit different form, but it's still cannabinoids. So you, as you're born, you're loaded with your brand new endocannabinoid system that produces those cannabinoids. So those cannabinoids are responsible for your entire body to function. It's just like a mother that holds, it's like, I would say it's like a top umbrella, and all these other disease goes right under umbrella. So your spleen, your central nervous system, your brain cells, your gut, your heart, it's like hundreds of organs and actions are responsible for you to function. So now what's happening, we already know those facts. This is not something Inesa decided to tell you because she has Nesa's hemp. No, it's a fact. It's been rediscovered. I'm sorry, it was rediscovered. It was suppressed for quite a while. It was rediscovered. So now what are we doing now? We're growing up, we're getting older, what they call older. First of all, they forgot to tell us we used to live for hundreds of years. And now they're saying, you guys extending your age. We're doing an amazing job by poisoning you because you can survive miserable by age 60. And I'm like, this is so wrong. They forgot to tell the real story about the human age. And what happens is the system is so broken where anywhere you go, anywhere you turn, you like it or you don't, you're exposed to toxins. Your air is exposed to toxins, nanotechnology, smart dust are sprayed on you all day long. Your water is loaded with all kinds of bacteria, parasites, over 150 parasites. So lead, mercury, all those things are in your water. And you're also exposed to stress because you want to make sure you pay your bills, and your food is loaded with toxins. I can't even get into that part because that would take me 1 month of talking. So what happens to that endocannabinoid system? It simply starts stirring up in the part. That system that is so responsible for your entire body to function correctly, it starts stirring up in the part. So now all these other organs and systems in the body getting affected by entire endocannabinoid system, not producing enough cannabinoids and not fulfilling your body what is made from and what it really needs. So what happened is now federally, endocannabinoid system has been discovered. It's a real thing. But federally, hemp as of today is illegal. So for you is essential to take this plant. It's like air, water, and food, because you right now, children losing their endocannabinoid system by age 18, 17. They used to gonna be able to keep up with our endocannabinoid system and cannabinoids in the good production by age 30, 35, but because it's so much toxicity and stress out there, were people losing it the system by very young age. So with that being said, you start falling in the part and you don't even know why. So if you empower your system with a really good, high quality endocannabinoids and cannabinoids, what's happening, you're just fulfilling your empty glass, what you made from. Of course, we need to discuss what's really good for your body and what's not, because all right now we have on the market, it's nothing but a drug. Again, as always, the same agenda. So with that being said, you're not supposed to be afraid of this plant. This plant is essential. You can live without this plant, and it's essential for you to stay healthy. And because you start losing it in very young age because of what's going on in the world. So that is the main point I would like to educate people how it's important for them. No matter how you think you healthy you are, I can promise you, you're losing that production by the young age as of today. So that is the main part. But then, of course, we have to educate people how it's important to choose the right products, because there is no regulations as of today. And I'm really considering even figure out how to push government and say, you guys not giving to us what's so actually essential to us. It's almost like taking your air, water, and food away and saying it's federally illegal.
Yeah.
But you need that to function.
Let me interject just one question. So when we're looking at this endocannabinoid system, is that something that, first of all, I will like a caveat, like we will never figure out how the human body works. It is miraculous. You're watching poetry in motion. You're watching God in motion. So forget anyone that tells you they know exactly how this is harmonizing, but we can brush at the surface. So with this endocannabinoid system, is that something like our lymphatic system and our cardiovascular system? Is it that it's an actual system in the body?
Yes, it affects all the systems in the body. This is how crucial, essential, and important this plant is to your body. It literally affects your cardiovascular, it affects your central, affects your brain, actually affects your brain production cells. I mean, it's absolutely essential to every organ in your body. So because we have these receptors everywhere, we found these receptors in almost each organ of the body. That means they're looking and they're starving for those cannabinoids to empower endocannabinoid system, so endocannabinoid system can do what is meant to do, but just make your organs and your entire ecosystem to work great, where you can create
Okay, so that makes sense. So the government is usually like 20 to 30 years ahead of what the masses are catching up to. So they usually figure out what makes us healthy, and we will usually get told to do the opposite. So I look at, well, alcohol is legal. Now they legalized marijuana, but I don't think that the marijuana that you're getting in these cannabis stores is anything remotely healthy because the government has approved it. And we have to be really, really careful understanding what the FDA is. The FDA is for profit. They are not protecting your health. It's simply another branch of the government meant for our enslavement. And it's a lot easier to take care of populations who are sick, weak, dependent. So I think instead of going after the government, because I don't want to see you disappear, we empower each other. We spread the word. And that is why I'm a nurse working home health, because then I can go and empower people and educate people one at a time. And then that's why I started this podcast in 2019. I had to change the start because it said pharmaceuticals are designed to make you sick, weak, dependent. Not anymore. This is a Medicine Girl podcast, but that got banned and censored. So when we're talking about these things, you know, keep an open mind to all of my listeners, knowing that what we're saying is based on a lot of research, reading, experience. What they tell you, anecdotal evidence, is supposed to be bad. They tell you women live to be 80 years now, men 75. The lifespans keep shortening, but we're just supposed to say, okay, that's just how it is. No. That is why we're doing this podcast. That is why we're educating you. So thank you for allowing me to interject that little point.
Now, that's actually a very important point, because end of the day, when people question things, and if you question even holistic medicine or the God's medicine that was used for thousands of years, and everybody was very happy under that system, and we never had cancer pandemic and depression pandemics and all the other pandemics in every category of the disease. So what happens? People need to step back and start thinking for themselves. I grew up in Lithuania. I was taught critical thinking. I was questioned why I think certain way or not another way. So with that being said, I think it's important for people to realize, wait a minute, what's really going on? If I've been sitting on these arthritis pills, is it really fixed my problem? What I'm really doing here, all what I'm going to do, get my prescription every month. That means somebody is getting paid. And I've been doing this for all these years. And in fact, your arthritis pills clearly tells you that they actually going to cause these certain side effects, and those side effects will happen, you like it or you don't, and eventually it's going to happen. So now you're going to go to get more pills from those another side effects, and you're turning yourself into a vicious cycle. So my question is, no matter how much you would like to challenge the system, just ask yourself, are you really getting better? Because if you're not born with the disease and it happened later, that means you developed. It can be reversed like everything else. Right. I'm working on the cases where we have genetic disease never been cured in the human history. I'm challenging my brain with the pretty big stuff. Like I would say, I'm working on some quite interesting projects that I'm so excited about, but like, and people can't even put the 2 and 2 plus together that arthritis just happened. It means you kept putting something in that body, it tear you up in apart. And if you stop putting it and reversing it with no drugs, because your drugs never reversed in the first place, that means something has to change. Something, be looking for change here. So just a critical thinking, questioning where you are today, what you've done, and if your problem got fixed. I promise you, I worked with hundreds and thousands of people as a holistic health medicine, someone who I was told I'm supposed to die, my mother's supposed to die. All of us are very healthy. We don't even know what disease is. It makes me laugh. I'm so sorry, but that's true. I live completely different world because I allowed it myself to be there. So just being open-minded and allow yourself to be there, it's a big thing.
I think that's what I have seen in my 35 years too, is it's 99% of this healing is that you've decided to. Not, I hope this works, I have faith. It's, I know I'm a daughter of God and this I'm going to heal. And you've been casting spells on me about what diseases, about what diagnoses are. That don't allow someone to diagnose you who profits from your diagnosis to begin with. Secondly, when they diagnose you, they're creating this idea of fear. Something's wrong with you. So here's a medication. I differentiate medicine and medication. Medicine, your body does not develop a tolerance to. It does not give you any kind of side effects. You might have vomiting and purging, but that's part of the healing process. And you need less and less of it to get the desired result. Medication, you develop, they call it side effects so that they make it seem like it's your fault. You got these side effects, you're sensitive, your body system's out of alignment. No, they're direct effects from taking a toxic drug. They're all toxic drugs to one extent or another. And so you build up a tolerance. Why do you build a tolerance? Because it's a poison. Your body's having to mitigate the damages of this poison. So then now we get to solutions. Now, so what is the solution? Well, it's using plants, God's medicine. I love the way, I've never heard it put that way, but that's what it is, right?
No, it's exactly what it is. I personally coach people, and I used to work one-on-one sessions. I keep those only for the cancer right now. But like right now, we also help people to reverse age and all kinds of other disease. And I tell people all the time, I don't want ever see you again after I'm done with you in 6 months. I want you to be so empowered with knowledge. Whatever you have in your body, we're gonna overcome. But after you're done, like, I don't want to ever see you again. I don't need you as a lifetime customer. I don't need you. If I ever see you, I want to see you happy, smiling, enjoying, and changing your life for better. That's it, whatever it is. So it's just very simple. Like, as you mentioned, like, if you're really working on something that is truth to your body, you should never go back on medications again. And these people are hooked for years. I mean, it's became a norm. We have this country, it just amazes me. And I love America. It's really my country. I would do anything for this country. I would take the bullet. I would do anything. And I'm here for people like there's no tomorrow. I gave up my personal life, Christmas, holidays, you name it, just for people in this country. I love it. But the people controlling and taking advantage of us it's really not a people that really care and love about you. So with that being said, empowering with people with knowledge is critical. So because if you know, you can't be manipulated anymore. So that's exactly what I coach people all the time. I said, when you're done with me and when I'm done with you, you're going to know so much. You don't have to ever talk to me again unless you wanted to. So
yeah, I want to put an emphasis on this because this is so important. And if what she just said, and rewind it and listen to it again, because that is the only practitioners I would suggest anyone work with that says, I want to be obsolete in your life. I'm going to give you some tools to wake up your intuition, to empower you and your decision making, your critical thinking, your creative thinking, so that you are not a sick, weak, dependent customer that looks to the white coat gods to tell you what to put in your body. So baseline, work with someone like Inesa that will empower you and give you the tools so that it becomes then second nature. And that, yes, you do not want to be a lifetime customer. That is their system. So we don't want to recreate a paradigm. We want to get outside of these paradigms so that we are living in health and wellness. That is our birthright. Most people don't know what that even feels like.
Sadly, I would say a lot of people are walking dead people and they don't even know. Like, even in our programs, like after 2 weeks, people start feeling amazing. Oh, what I did just empower their immunity, and like, oh my gosh, I feel better than ever. It's like, we're not even started yet. What are you talking about? They already feel this is like a most beautiful thing ever happened to them. And I'm like thinking, wait a minute, until we're gonna remove all your liver toxins, all your stones and everything. You're gonna be pooping like tomorrow, 3-5 pounds a day. And for 6 months straight, and when all these toxins gonna come out of you, I said, I just see transformation. And the most beautiful thing, what I really noticed in working with so many people, I notice when you really give people that free physical body, they also clean up their pineal gland. The pineal gland allows them to sense things, to what's the truth, what's not. So they're realizing certain things about their financial situations. They know where to go, where to make money. They become so smart. And I'm not saying that people are not smart in general, they are. But from the moment you remove these dark entities from your body, all these snakes and parasites and stones and fungi overgrowth and mold and lead and mercury and all those nanotechnology right now that is so, we're loaded with nanotechnology. If you have to remove that, from the moment you becomes a God version, you just become powerful. And think about this, if all of those people really became so powerful and they can be manipulated and controlled, how are they going to make money out of you? Like they just
That's
can't.
right.
Just
And that's why, yeah, that is why your message is so vital. And that is why my message is so vital. And I kept wondering, like, why am I so heavily censored? I'm not one of these, influencers with 100,000 followers, because my message is the threat. Your message is the threat. That means when you empower someone to take that initiative so that they cannot be brainwashed, they cannot be controlled, then they start waking up other people. So that is why this grassroots movement and why everything that you're saying is so important to understanding how to navigate healthcare, so it's not so confusing and overwhelming. This is like the basics. Find someone that empowers you, find someone that has those tools that can create the health and wellness, that knows, like, you laugh at disease. I do too, because it's silly. It's like, figure out the roots, address those, the body will heal itself. And then we have these things that potentiate that or work with your body and not against it, so you don't have side effects. And yeah, I mean, the stuff that we call side effects or symptoms, like going to the bathroom 3 to 5 pounds a day, getting, vomiting, sweating, getting all this stuff out, that's natural. It should start to feel good. I actually crossed over to that understanding of a while ago. I did an iboga journey. And everyone's like, oh, you're going to vomit and this. And you get that feeling like, oh, I just don't want to. But then it was the most glorious experience of my life, because it was purging years and lifetimes of condensed poison and toxins. So thank you for indulging that story. But I think it's just so important. My audience, I get comments and everything about, like, where do we even begin? I'm overwhelmed. And start there with empowerment.
Absolutely. And someone who really knows what they're doing, because as you mentioned, like parasites, when you remove those, they have billions of species. I have thousands of pictures of removing parasites from people's bodies, and some of them the size of my arm, like from bigger people. And people's like, okay, they scream when they see what they're delivering. It's just like delivering the baby. And people say, as you mentioned, the side effects, like, that means pregnancy and delivering the baby is a side effect, but also because you have to expand yourself, you have to become a little bigger. No, it's just a process delivering the baby, same as a process delivering the toxins in your toilet. It's just you have to go through it. Your body has to prepare for it. And of course you have to work with somebody who knows what they're doing. If they don't, that's the critical point, because now everybody says they know what they're doing because they just want those quick fixes. Even with parasitic detoxes, it drives me nuts when they say you can cleanse your parasites in 2 weeks. Really? Just the red blood cycle is 120 days. If you want to cleanse the red blood and the blood itself from the hookworms and the all kinds of parasites that flush and swim in our blood, I mean, it takes 120 days to recover just the blood. Like, how you can cleanse entire parasites, all different species, within 2 weeks? It just amazes me. So people need to be aware there is fixes, but also the holistic medicine and the holistic. I just learned the holistic medicine schools are actually becoming owned by same pharmaceuticals, because they want to interfere with our knowledge and change our people and shift them to different direction again.
That's it. Yeah. And so when you have disempowered, weak, sick, dependent, frightened people, they will go, oh, well, I'm going to go to a holistic doctor, a functional medicine doctor. And I've been screaming about that. Also, pharmaceutical owns all of the supplements now also. So for example, in the 70s, this doctor sold the American public on vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. And now they have these labs, and everyone tests low in their vitamin D. So what do? They give you a synthetic cholecalciferol, vitamin D3. It is rat poison. It is not a vitamin, it's a hormone. It destroys your health. Every single functional medicine doctor says not just to take it, but to take mega doses of it. Or they were all into, frothing at the mouth for ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. These are still pharmaceuticals. There is no positive pharmaceutical. Ivermectin, yeah, it will kill all your parasites, but then you also have whatever heavy metals they have inside their bodies will then be released into your body, like all of a, sorry, it's my alarm. My phone's off. It's like, why did it just ring? The all of those heavy metals, those parasites have ingested them, will go be dumped into your body. So how do you know how to find the right practitioner? Like, I've never met somebody like you. I don't know how, like, we were able to connect as divine intervention, but 99% of the practitioners I meet are in the matrix, even if they don't realize that they are.
No, absolutely. It's very easy. I tell people all the time, it's through only one way to test your practitioner is first, if you're going to see someone after 2 weeks, if you don't feel at least 30 to 40% better, you have to run. That's number one, because your body's, if you're on the right track, your body's going to pick up really quickly. That's number one. Number two, you ask this person, show me the people that you worked 5-6 years ago, and I want to check on their actual status as of today. So you look at the history, and it amazes me how people are so afraid to question doctors or holistic or regular doctors, Western medicine, because they think whatever doctor told them, no, you are in control. It's your temple. It's your body. You're responsible for. You're responsible to know better. And if you don't know, you question them. It's that simple. And it's their job we got everything so upside down. Now people are afraid to question. Why are you afraid? This person is working for you. You paid them, and you actually paid very high price. So if you have a feeling you don't trust, or if you want to ask questions, you should drill them down. But I have a bad news. They have only 10 to 15 minutes on you, because they have to take another person, because they have to get promoted to become a Dr. XYZ of the year, so they can get the Cancun vacation, their husband and wife, whatever. So what happens is they have to push the numbers. They have to be in the system. And if you're going to ask questions, they're not going to like you, because they're realizing they're getting questioned. But end of the day, you must ask questions. I'm tired when people come to me and say, oh, can I ask my doctor? I don't think she's going to allow me to do. What do you mean she doesn't allow you to do? You are the boss. You are the one who's telling them what you want. It's your body.
Yes, that's number one. It's your body, and you're allowing these practitioners to poison you. And you're afraid to question their poisons. So, and I worked with this man, and I was educating him about cholesterol and statins, and got him off all his medications safely with a doctor that was good. And he was feeling amazing. He'd lost 60 pounds. He was in a good relationship for the first time, and then he was scheduled for his regular checkup, which he went to, and the doctor bullied him into getting back on his cholesterol medication. He said, it's not safe, you could potentially die, whatever she's telling you is not true. And so he did, and he got all of the same issues and all of the same problems back, and he still couldn't see that he was underneath this. That's how programmed we are. That's how programmed he's like, was feeling good. Everything was going great. Lost weight, went back on the drug, gained weight, lost his relationship, lost his testosterone, but yet couldn't see that the doctor profits from prescribing these medications. I do not. I do not profit from getting you off these medications. I do not. It lights me up to see people do better, you know, but I say exactly the same thing. Here's our time together. And then when we're done, we're done. And you should be empowered and feeling better and better each and every time. And if not, then we need to go back to the drawing board.
No, absolutely. It's very sad, but also going back to pineal gland. So that's why chlorine is a big thing, and they want you to drink and I mean, because it calcifies your pineal gland, and your pineal gland senses what's good and bad, so you become a zombie. And then they have these parasites that are also controlled. The serpents are sitting in your temple that actually talks in the Bible about when they say if you allow the serpents stay longer than 7 days in your temple, you are no longer control of your temple and you're getting manipulated. So I work with very powerful people myself across the globe, and we clearly have there's a mind control parasites. Go on Google, even your Google that is biased from every angle tells you that there is parasites that control your brain. It tells you you should quit on this, you should cheat on your wife, you should quit. Like, their job is they're serpents, they're sitting in your body, so their job is to destroy you. Their job is not to bring you love. Why every time I'm done with my people, why these people become more successful, they're turning themselves into relationships, into family, health, confidence, why all these beautiful things start happening? It just, do you think like this is by accident? All of them, not 99.9%, but all of them,
right?
All of them. Why they become so powerful when these toxins leave their body? So message is so deep, and I know we don't have a lot of time to go over this message, but it's deeper. Things are way deeper. The technology, toxins, parasites, the serpents are sitting in your body. And I'm happy to even share pictures, you know, afterwards with you. Like, the stuff that we remove it's enormous, it's huge, it's big, it's coming out from everybody, including 9-year-old kids. It's just coming out nonstop. And all of us loaded. And you go to the doctor, says parasites, you're loaded with parasites. Like, wait a minute, parasites only in third world countries? Really, doctor? How's about the sushi? If you eat that sushi, one sushi roll has 10,000 larva eggs of 60-foot tapeworms. Tapeworms. Like, you just, my family, my part of the family, my sisters-in-laws, they own a grocery store chain, and I simply asked them, I said, listen, what's in that meat? I don't touch meat myself, but it's like tumors, cancer tumors, all these animals loaded. So they don't, by the way, as a store, you can't get any other meat. Like, so I'm not blaming the store. I asked them, I said, where's the issue? It's like, there's no any other way to get this meat. All what we need to do, cut it out, because by the law, by whatever the situation is, like they allow them to cut the tumor out. But do you think it's just that area was infected, or the whole animal? So now you're eating those cancers also. Forget about you just really creating cancer yourself by being exposed to toxins. You also eat cancer daily. Doesn't matter, you buy from Whole Foods or you buy from any other kind of, so there is no animals with no tumors. They cut them out, those tumors, and they allowed to sell, because of course they allowed them sell. Of course, because they want people to be loaded.
And you're eating the sadness and the trauma that factory raised animal went through. That goes into their meat, their muscle. That you're eating all of the herbicides, pesticides, rodenticides are in their food, and all the antibiotics and the growth hormones and all the stuff we have no idea about. And they use surplus food to go to the factory farms to feed the animals. So like red hots were found in cattle food. So all of this, I mean, like you said, we could spend hours just going in on the toxicity that we are inundated with, from the air, from the chemtrails, from the tap water, to figuring out how we can even take a shower without getting that stuff on us. It can be overwhelming. But as a 35-year veteran in the healthcare field, the human body has a miraculous capacity to heal itself. these patients that are taking 30 different prescription drugs, eating Jack in the Box, drinking a 12-pack of Pepsi a day and alcohol are still alive. They are still functioning. So that is the power that is within us. So don't start, feel like I can get overwhelmed too. I can get in states of fear because I'm human, but to realize how powerful we are, how innately powerful we are. And then to ask yourself that question, what am I capable of if I'm not poisoned in any way, if I'm not toxified in any way, if I don't have all these heavy metals surrounding me and all these electromagnetic frequencies, and we can still live in this plane with these toxins and heal and be lit up in our full potential. Would you agree with that?
I love the question, what we are capable of. I think it's some people have no idea. They can't even imagine in their own brain the power they have within themselves, because I see it all the time. We transform people. We don't give them quick fixes, supplements, things like that. No, like we go in deep transformation, otherwise I'm not interested. So when we transform, or even during transformation process, these people become, I'm not joking, genius. I'm not joking. It's just absolutely insane what's happening. You can't even explain it. I cry personally all the time by seeing these transformations, because like you give them those tools and then you unlock the human potential. I promise you, not single one of those people who's listening right now, they barely can imagine, scratch the surface, how much the power they have within themselves to figure out their finances, relationships, sense good and bad, to know exactly what's wrong, to even create a higher IQ. It's in you. All what you need to do these tools. And again, everything what you're mentioning and I'm mentioning is not stories from a mother or grandmother or somebody. It's proven scientific facts, case studies. It's my own personal living life also. It's just that information is so not available to you, because if it was, I mean, then you would be just powerful. They don't need you to be powerful. So with that being said, that's why you see censored. That's my life is more than censored, but I have cameras almost in my bedrooms. But with that being said, like I live under a microscope, and I know that. I'm fully aware. Even my brand, Nesa's Hemp, is big time under microscope. These companies, FDA purchasing consistently my product, all my 3 SKUs, sending to labs to test it, because I talk really against their CBD drug industry, that I'm so against everything what's on the market, cannabis, all that stuff, high THCs, getting smokables, like the gummies. What is this? So I'm going against all the market. 99% of the market, $1 billion market. And of course, it's a drug. So they're gonna own it. You're already owning it, just not officially yet, not on the paper yet. I mean, on the paper, but not official where they control it. So I'm censored big time. I'm watched, I'm looked for, but do you think I care? I'm doing what's right. And because I live and preach, and what I preach, I practice, you can't do much about me on me. Like I pay my taxes, I live everything what I say, I live healthy myself. Like you can't do much about it. Like it's just simply that. My products developed in the highest quality, not single one product until today can match our lab results in parts per billion, not single one. It's 10,000 CBD brands out there, not single one can match our lab results. And that tells you something.
That tells us something that's extremely powerful. And somehow speaking my truth, talking to you, you're speaking your truth, you're lit up, you're vibrant, we're somehow protected also. Because I think Rudolf Steiner says the love of money and working for money will destroy everything. And we can see that. You can sell your soul for $1 because you're afraid, like, oh, I got to put food on the table. So yeah, I'll work in hospitals and inject people with toxic medications. No, when you're lit up, like somehow everything just unfolds. You don't need a private jet and you don't need all this excess, but you're taken care of, you're held, you're protected. And then I wanted to kind of circle back. One thing that you said, I think is really important. When you see these people, they lose their parasites and they start to you actually are communicating now with the person for the first time. Before, you're just communicating with disease and illness and facade and programming and brainwashing. Now you get to like actually speak soul to soul, and you get to see these people wake up. That's why I say no one deserves to be thrown away. We don't have this global agenda is about genocide as well, and they're after our children. All of these people, even the people that are rubbing you the wrong way or they're irritating to you, that's not them. You haven't met their essence yet. So that's the other reason to all of us, to start lighting each other up and getting rid of these toxins and getting rid of this programming, is that then we can have communication, soul to soul, heart to heart, instead of programming to programming, brainwashing, hills to die on, labels to defend, pronouns, all of that. Then we get to be in it, starting to brush the surface of what, like you said, what we're capable of. So let's get back to this hemp. And so we can maybe just assume that every product on the market is toxic.
I don't want people to assume anything. I would like to explain from my own tens of thousands of dollars research that I had to physically walk in those facilities. And I'm not going to really try to be a bad guy here. I'm simply always want to know the truth. That's whatever the truth is. Even it's my own, I don't have kids, my own kids are killers. I want to know if they are. I don't want to live in the bubble. I want to know whatever the truth is. If it's painful, I'll accept it. I'll deal with it. So what happened is, I simply, as a holistic health coach and that works with people in a very deep level, I simply was looking for the really good quality product. And, when you're calling companies and talking to them, you try to connect with the CEO or their scientific department, and you ask them questions, right? And when you ask questions, you don't ask those questions from the marketing materials based on their website. You really ask questions based what's in really that product. You speak in the same language with them, right? So what happened to me, more questions I asked, more questions I had. And that led me to the really wrong feeling, because I'm fully open. So I also sense things. And I simply sensed, I knew immediately after I dealt with 17 companies, the top labeled #1 quality, you name it. I'm not going to mention names here, but they do know me pretty well because I've physically walked in their facilities. I said, this is wrong. Something isn't right. Something is really sketchy here. And what I decided to do, I visited all the companies in those top 17 market at that time, visited across America. And I said, what if one day I will come to visit you? Can you really show me, don't tell me kind of type of thing? And they said, yeah, no problem. I did a little white lie. I said, I'm from Lithuania. They assumed I live in Lithuania. I didn't say I live in Chicago. And I was like, this girl is never going to make it to the United States. Like, she's from Lithuania, most likely. So I have an accent and everything, which just helps sometimes to do a little undercover. And what happened to me is I simply visited. I backed up myself. I went from anywhere, Kentucky, I went to Oregon, California. It's a big time growers. And I just walked in. I said, do you remember we talked? I need to know the truth. Show me, don't tell me, this kind of type of thing. And ended some scenarios pretty badly. I was kicked out, and I didn't came with attitude. I was simply in very loving position. I said, I want to know. I work with people. Anything we put in our bodies is critical for me to know, because I need to have peace of mind when I go to sleep. I need to know what I promote. So I just simply said, please share with me. I want to see lab results. I want to see how you check your batches. Is each of your batches are actually tested, or you sharing lab results? The one was tested positive or negative for like years ago. So I started to look into that data. And again, I got kicked out. I worked the farmers. I tested water. I tested the soil. I sent it to my own lab results. So I paid for those labs. Nobody paid for me. I had to pay for it. So really know what's in these bottles. I had to know, because I know the power of hemp. I know how it's essential to your body. It's a must to be in your body in order for you to stay healthy and not to be stuck on pharmaceuticals. But then I'm looking for this perfect product that has every single compound the way God gave us in the finished bottle, like in the same frequency, in the same everything, genetics. So, and I couldn't find it. And it really led me to major disappointment, went on my knees, prayed and cried, screamed, thank God neighbors didn't call the police, because it was such a disappointment, because there was a lot of dark stuff going on I don't want to share right now, and I don't want to sound negative, but it was pretty dark things. Like, people were laughing at me that I want to do good, and they just like, we're gonna make money and you don't, like, good luck with your, it's just very dark things. So long story short is, I said, I have to do something. Like, this is not gonna work. Like, I can't, there's so I just connected with the top two cannabis experts in the world. One was from Israel. He's the one who discovered human endocannabinoid system. So he proved the fact that you and I are basically like a hemp plant. We have these receptors. We produce those cannabinoids in our system. That's crucial to you. And I connected with him. It took me 3 months to get him on a call, but I finally did. And I said, do you know any company in the United States or the world, like, that contains every single living compound as it is in the raw version in the plant in the finished bottle? And clean version, no lead, and no mercury, no herbicides. And he says, young girl, whatever you are, like, I just don't know. And if you ever come across one, I want to know. And he said, keep me posted. And of course, he challenged my brain. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I connect with another doctor from Harvard. And that time he was working the largest company in the United States, not going to mention the name. They own the largest market share at the moment in the world, in actually the world. So I connected with him. I said, can you please help me? I'm trying to find this healthiest product. I know what you represent. I said, I'm not pro that company. I explained him why, what my foundings were, how I was unhappy with the company he was working for. And then he simply didn't want to talk to me. He hung up. He said he thought I'm just crazy, because at that point I was going aggressive. And I said, I gotta talk to him. He's my last chance to discuss this whole cannabis thing. Like, this is absolutely wrong. So I flew in California, and I saw him right after his election and panel. He was speaking on one of the scientific panels, representing things. And I tapped his shoulder afterwards, and I said, you can't run away from me anymore. You have to talk to me. Like, I need to know the truth. So after we end up talking in the lobby for 3 to 4 hours, I learned everything what I need to know. And that was the moment where I realized I'm by myself in this game. And he wished me good luck. He says, if you ever do or found, I would like to know. I said, can I follow up with you? And like, whatever the time is going to be right. And he said, yeah, I just want to let you know it's going to be hard for you, young woman. I was like, whatever. I said, I don't care. I'm used to hard. That's been my life so far. It took us 2 years to develop just the soil, to remove the chemtrails, and to microbes can be very active, so they can allow the plant to really grow in the highest frequency, which is healing frequency, so they can also heal and empower your endocannabinoid system. It took me a little while to get the good genetics, the ones are not manipulated, and it took us a while to find a way how we're going to extract the plant by not actually destroying the chemicals and everything what's in this living plant. So what we did in the final bottle, we really were able to get every single living compound, including the heartbeat of the plant, to transfer in the finished bottle. That's why our also product is protected, the strongest glass that there is all over the world. It's extremely expensive glass. It's the most expensive that there is, but it's only one way to protect that heartbeat of the plant. So when the person takes it, the first person who takes the product, they activate the product for first time. Versus what industry is doing, that's what made me really sad. They have raw version of the plant. They go through, first of all, they grow with mold and herbicides, and I mean, I can't even get there. It's a lot of dangerous things that they don't test for, and they don't want it to, because the labs would be pretty bad news. But what's happening, they grow unhealthy. And keep in mind, hemp plant itself by nature is actually a soil cleaner. What it does is like a sponge, it's like a magnet, grabs every particle from everywhere. So if you want to grow hemp for medicinal purposes, it's critical to clean the soil and from miles away. including chemtrails, because you want to have that direct connection, the sunshine. You don't want to have in green homes, because that's not how we had 2000 years ago when Jesus was walking earth. He wasn't extracting some CBD with solvents and, you know, some ethanol extract.
Thank you for saying that. Another emphasis on that, because that is so important. You don't interfere with God. You don't interfere with God's medicine. We cannot do it better. And so preserving that is so vital. Read the Bible. What is the diseases that they have in the Bible? Nothing's changed. They just repackage them, poison us, and then call it a new disease. But I think it's just so important that everything that you're saying is the only thing I can ever promote. It's like, I want to go get this hemp today. Like, that's how I was like, the heartbeat of the hemp plant is in this bottle, and it has to be protected. That's so exciting. That that is a huge accomplishment, that it sounds like you were just led that way. And it's not, I mean, when you're led and you're guided by God, it's never easy. I think people should understand that also. I mean, it's satisfying, but I'm sure you can agree, it's very challenging following your heart.
It is challenging, but it's very peaceful, because when I go to sleep, I know I changed thousands of people's lives. I know I unhooked people from drugs. I gave people freedom and families back. They're no longer live in fear. So that reward is way bigger. This company that I developed, I was asked by two very powerful people to sell this company for over $170 million. And I said, no. They said, we're going to promise you're going to struggle. And I said, I prefer to struggle and go to do the right way than actually to sell my soul, because I knew they would want a patent and steal away from people again. Because what most important thing people need to realize, first of all, there's never been a cannabis in the high THC levels where you get high yourself, you go crazy, your brain dead is actually, you have a brain dead. We never had that. Those are 100% genetically engineered in the lab. The THC level never, ever existed, ever. When Jesus, do you think was Jesus making children getting high and smoked? Absolutely not. He was using canna. He refers that in the Bible. He was using canna to heal people, wash people's feet. He was using as his herbal medicine. But do you think he was re-engineering genetics, GMOs and everything? No, all these genetics, high THC doesn't exist in the plant, in the original plant. And they don't want people to know about the original plant, because the original plant cannot be patented. So original plant is a CBDa. Is not a CBD. CBD is a drug. Go on your stupid smart Google and type in CBDa, Food and Drug Administration. It clearly tells you it's a drug patented for epilepsy. And if it's a drug, that means it's not natural. And if it's not natural, it doesn't belong to you, because your body doesn't know how to accept this, especially for the system that you already have in your body.
100% of the time. If it's not a natural substance, your body will see it as a toxin and a poison, and it will always, always, always have disastrous results, either immediate or long downstream effects, such as 10, 15, 20 years, like any of it. And they also want to change us into synthetic beings. They want to alter our DNA so that a portion of it is synthetic, so they can do the same thing with humans. So just wanted to interject that.
No, that's great information. That synthetic being is already happening. I already saw they producing babies without mothers and wombs and everything, which is absolutely insane. But that's happening as we speaking.
It's happening. Yeah, it's actually happening.
Yeah. So synthetic doesn't belong to you. You have to go back where you came from. It's just people need to realize that. I know it must be hard sometimes. because the people lived in this matrix world. But at the same time, there's a world like you and I, we both live in it, and there's millions of people already have this movement. So you're not alone. You just really have to do your own research, but make sure you go to the right sources, because there's a science, there's information, there's everything out there. And as I said, like CBD itself is a drug. It's patented as a drug. There is no CBD. If you take the hemp plant, original, the one we had like even 50 years ago, they don't even know what is 50% of THC. The highest we had was 6 to 7%.
Wow.
And it wasn't even a THC, it was THCA, just the way we have in Nesas. THCA does not make you high. So my question is to you or everybody, why they re-engineered what something is beautiful and powerful? There is no CBD in the plant. Also, take the raw plant. And that's where I had a problem with all these companies, because I simply took the raw plants and I said, what we have in the plant and what is here on the table. So we don't have a CBD in the plant. There is no CBD. There's a CBDa. It's acidic cannabinoid. That's a God's version. It's a CBDa. It's been scientifically proven 1,000 times stronger. So I guess God's version, original version, it's been scientifically proven it's 1,000 times stronger. And now you have a CBD that you can patent, full of toxins, never been tested in parts per billion from any microtoxins and all kinds of other bacteria, you name it, loaded with toxins, plus it's a drug. And now we have a government that loves you so much, that hooks you up on their drugs, that makes trillions of dollars that they send in the wars only God knows where. And what they do to you, they say, we love you so much, we're going to make this plant legal, but we're going to give you a drug version, and we're going to re-engineer the plant so you forget the history. Look at the history of the plant. There's never been such high THCs. It's all engineered. These labs working 24/7 to re-engineer these plants. So there's no original version left on this earth.
Wow, that just lit up so many light bulbs for me, because first and foremost, if the government is approving cannabis, something's up, because they don't do anything that doesn't create sick, weak, dependent, calcified pineal gland customers. And so it is then you're smoking the smoke of slave. If you're smoking it, or the gummies or whatever else that they're doing to it. And now it's that people want to get higher and higher. And I think it's nefarious. That's probably could be opening you up to dark forces. It could be opening up portals. Who know? We don't know. They do.
Kills, it's Mayo Clinic already actually recognized. They did the research and study that high THC levels for people to smoke or take a daily dosage, it's actually been shown that actually shuts down your decision-making mechanism in your brain. That means when you take those high dosages, you no longer, and it's a proven fact, everybody can go on Mayo Clinic and look for the research, and it's a proven fact, you can't make a decision. That means you become such vegetable, you can't make a decision. Should I go to the grocery store? Should I not? Should I get a job? Should I not? Should I get married? Should I have not? And you just live in this unknown yourself. It's a fact.
Wow.
It's proven fact. So they're proving all the wrong version. They want to prove this wrong version. They want, because they can patent it, control it, hold it, and actually manipulate as always. But the real version, the one we created, the one I created with God's help, we created together. I always say we, because God and myself, we just two of us on the team. So what we created, it's his version, can be patented. It's been proven 1,000 times stronger. My Harvard doctor stands behind the product more than anybody I know. The one who challenged me and said, "Good luck, young woman." I mean, these people wrote white papers for me. They said, "We applaud you for what you've done, because we couldn't believe you can do it by yourself."
Wow.
It wasn't easy too. I had to find a crazy farmer and say, "Listen, we're going to do what's right, but we're not going to make money first couple of years. We're just going to develop the soil." Do you know how many farmers said no to me? All of them, until I found the one crazy like myself. And he says, "You know what? As long as we're doing the right for humanity, I don't care if we make money. Let's just do it." So
yeah, I call those people like you, me, that guy, we're pure hearts. We're not in it for the money, but we are in it for what we can see would be helpful to bring about your personal empowerment and your healing, so that you have the ability now to make your own choices. You're not puppeted by toxins and parasites and programming and television, and on and on and on it goes. That is why we're doing this. That is why we have skin in the game, for that pure heart potential. Like, I want to see other people lit up in their pure heart potential.
They have it. They just need to really ask themselves. And it's going to be two voices. First voice is that gut feeling kind of type of voice. And within milliseconds, you're going to have a second voice, the dark side of voice that wants to misguide you. Because keep in mind, when they misguide you, they benefit from that too. So the dark side. So with that being said, you have to listen to your voice, and you have to be so in tune. Is this woman, she's crazy or what? Whatever the first voice sounds, whatever the first voice talking to you, that's the right answer. That's the one you want to follow in every step. If it's your job, if it's a relationship, it's any health related situation, ask yourself, you know, these answers, God made you so powerful, but also don't get tricked by the second voice. The one comes from more from your gut, second one's come from your brain. So the one that comes from your brain, you want to avoid that. Yes. Because real brain is actually in your gut. All your brain cells is produced in your gut. That's why in the morning you can't drink acidic, moldy coffee and don't kill them, because they're looking for something empowerment, like probiotics, alkaline water, whatever it is, like something healthy for you to empower those cells so they can push for your day. They can be responsible for you. Don't kill them with the acidic coffee and empty stomach in the morning, because the first thing they do, you get up in the morning, those cells, they sit in your gut, you produce them while you sleep. That's why sleep is so important, because more hours you sleep, more cells you produce.
Wow. Yeah. And I do drink coffee, and it's like, oh, well, I trick myself into thinking it's okay because it's the organic, shade grown, tested for herb molds and everything. But gut wise, I know it's not good. It's that first voice that says, stop drinking coffee, get like dandelion, make my own dandelion root tea. And I know that, but yet it's like that, like, I'm so glad you pointed out, there's that second sabotaging voice that is programmed into us. We think it's our voice. It's not. It's the programming. It's the television. It's the milieu of this environment that's keeping us down for design, because they don't want us powerful, because we will shut down the system. We will eventually, I guarantee you, we're going to shut down the system. It's just a matter of when. I think we're getting more towards that critical mass, because people are understanding what you're talking about. I didn't know anything about hemp and marijuana and anything about that. I just knew something's awry when the government's making it legal. And why are all these kids that start smoking it have no more drive? They don't mind sitting inside all day in front of a video game. I think it pairs with one another somehow. Like it ignites something within the brain that makes the video games more addictive or more fun. But it's like, then they're controlled. They're sick, they're numb, they're dependent. They're easy to manipulate.
No, absolutely. I'm glad I was able to I didn't even think about it, but I'm glad I brought this about the coffee. And yes, I suggest people all the time to take at least very warm glass of water first, if you don't take probiotics and multiple other things like I do myself. But like, do that first if you're so addicted to your coffee. And the second, purchase your coffee at least mushroom based or something, like where it's moldy tested in parts per billion, and make sure your labs also produce the right results. Because even laboratories that I work, I had to find them. I mean, every lab I called out and I said, what if I'm going to have bad results? Like, I was just testing. I never had the bad results, but I was testing them. I said, can we just make up some numbers here on the lab numbers and reports? And I said, yeah, we'll figure it out. From the moment somebody says figure it out, like come to me and say, Inesa, can we just change your product and whatever? I would say it's impossible to change anything. Like you can do nothing about it. It's impossible. And when people tell me we can figure it out, it stands for yes. Answer yes. They want to, that means so it took me a good lab to find that would never change the lab results. So you have to be careful about those, because those are really bad. Like, I'm not joking. It's a really serious issue of the laboratories. So that's why the 1V I work with, I tested them. I said, listen, what if I come positive for mold? Can you figure out something? Can we do something? Can we just figure out the numbers and whatever, like how much I need to pay? And they said, absolutely no. Absolutely. It's like we're losing 40% of our cannabis business because everybody's asking us to do the same. And we're not going to sabotage our integrity. We're an FDA registered lab. We actually a lab that cares about what's in the product, and we will report as it is. There's going to be no numbers made it up. I'm sorry, young lady. I said, you know what? I'm flying in to see you guys because we just made a lifetime relationship. You just passed my test. And we actually became a highest quality certified product by the same lab in parts per billion from every toxin, you name it. And until today, not single one company can actually match our lab results because they would be positive and red marked with everything. And I tell people all the time, you want to really, really match who we are, do an exact same lab, because I know the number's not going to lie, and do lab results in parts per billion, apples to apples, what we do in the Nesa's hemp, and we will see what you have. Then you can talk to me. There are other, if you don't do that process, don't even tell me nothing about your quality, nothing. You're not allowed to speak. Do the action first and then tell me later.
Yeah. And that just also, I say that like even the lab values are pharmaceutical funded, but when we're getting labs and tested, these companies have trillions of dollars, billions of dollars. This industry is corrupt to the core. They are after money. They are after power. So they will say, like, what's it going to cost me to get a good result on this lab? Just consider that. And then trust your gut too. But again, I guess not your coffee gut. Darn it. I know I'm going to, okay, so now today's the day. I'm going to start my path to quitting coffee. I'll say it publicly. I'm going to stop drinking coffee because I know I will feel so much better. And I know it makes me hungrier than it would normally. Okay. That's what I'm going to be doing. I wanted just to say one other thing. I'm going to be respectful of your time. I could probably talk to you for hours and hours, but when you're talking about the way they're producing the hemp and the synthetics and these different hybrids and the way they're growing them, what you're getting in that little bottle is also the concentrated toxins and the concentrated poison. So it's worse, almost worse than not doing any of it, because that's what I'm so vehement with people is just like I just at least do no harm. Don't just like, oh, CBD, oh, I'm on the alternative side now. I'm doing something healthy just because it says CBD. And I have a lot of patients that think they're helping themselves. Well, it could be absolutely making it worse, cutting you off even further from this divine self that you are, this wonderful person. So in closing, where can people find you? Where can they purchase this? And how do they know for sure that it's going to be your product?
Yeah, our labels and brand is actually trademarked and patented. So it's very easy. It's Nesa's, Nesas, hemp, one word, like it's one word, nesashemp.com. And we do actually ship across the United States. So just place an order and you're going to have the product. Most important, even we have the most protective glass that there is in the world. Still don't keep in your sunshine. Don't keep it too in the high temperatures. We don't want to heat the product. As I said, I had to go in blood and tears to figure out how to keep that life and the heartbeat in the finished bottle. So don't kill it with the heating situations, or you don't have to keep in the fridge as long as it's not exposed to the sun for the days in 150 degrees or something like that. So yeah, so just be careful. But again, another thing, if somebody's purchasing the product or they will decide to give a try, I can personally guarantee results, like personally guarantee results. And if you feel like you're not getting results from the product, in some cases immediately, some cases takes 1 week, adjust your dose, because some people have a little bit more in their endocannabinoid system, cannabinoids left, so they need a little bit less, and some people need more in order to trigger that system. So you have to trigger that main mother that's responsible for everything that goes under that umbrella. And in order to trigger, you might need higher dose, you might need lower dose. I don't know. I suggest people to start to follow the dose as it is in our instructions. But then if you don't feel like it's working, just increase the dose. That's it. And again, we have thousands of people buying the product. We never seen one not experiencing results. I'm talking about in very miracle situations where people couldn't walk for 5 years, 7 years. And after they took the product, within 1 week, they're doing live stream on Facebook. I mean, it's just running the highways, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's a God's given, it's to you. It's 100% pure. Each bottle is labeled with the batch number. So everything what I say is actually backed up. My words are backed up by evidence. And you type in your batch number on our lab result page on our website, you know exactly what this bottle contains. There's no fake lab results, there's no lies. You see pages of testing for each bottle that people put in their mouth. So you have all the evidence and the product works. You just have to make sure you adjust the dose. Just God forbid you have a little bit more sensitive or stronger endocannabinoid system, because it's two biological beings getting together. We know what should really trigger, but end of the day, I'm connecting your body, your nature, with another living heartbeat nature. And when they're gonna connect together, we know it triggers, but we don't know how much they need to trigger each other exactly. So just be aware of that, because it's two biological beings. It's not a drug where they put you, they know exactly what dose to do to kill off your cells or suppress your cells. It's not a drug. It's a natural, God's given medicine that is essential to your body. So
that's so incredible to think about, that your frequency is now combining with the frequency of something that's essentially living. So that, and I love the plant kingdom, because I think essentially plants know when we do better, they do better. They don't have the ego of trying to, put their name on it and like, oh, this is my plant. And it's just, again, we're conduits, healing people, educating people, understanding that these things can create wellness. And I see it as it creates like a cascade of wellness, like the domino effect. You make an attempt, you're telling God, you're telling your body, we're going to heal, and it creates its own momentum. And then it's easier to quit drinking coffee and any of the other toxic things that, you know that you're doing, but it's time to stop them. So I want to say thank you so much, Inesa, for doing all of it. I mean, I am so blown away by your power and your tenacity, that you're 1 in a billion, actually. And I think this is going to be huge. It's the grassroots. It's like the mycelium under the soil. We connect, with all of the people. And so that you can't attack us. You can't see us. And by the time you see the mushrooms, it's too late. We've taken over. We're healthy. We're lit up. Our pineal glands are activated.
Absolutely. And I'm not 1 of the billion. I'm just like everybody else. I just done my work. I really done my work on myself. I've been miserable and healthy. I've been hooked on drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, and I'm just healthy. I'm a God's version, and I'm always trying to be a better person every single day. But like end of the day, I am God's original version, and all of us we just need to allow our bodies to be the way we meant to be. So I'm just being me. I'm just being like all of us. It's just most people are not aware they have the same thing.
Yes. So that's a good thing to qualify it, because yes, but you still are 1 in a billion, because most of us haven't had that ability to release all of these toxins, to understand. And then once you do, then yes, you have that potential. Everyone has that potential. Everyone has that power. But, you know, it was like we're loaded with caravans of toxicity and programming. And first thing I would say too is like turn off the television set and don't turn it back on. And if you have people in your family that are addicted to it, just cut the cord like I did. It's like then there's no option. But that's the first thing. And then start releasing the other toxins. And I am definitely going to go and get some of that hemp today. I'm so excited. I had no idea that this is the original plant.
It is. It is. And there's something else we're working on right now, big time on the seeding. And I'm hunting for the oldest plant, and it's in actual Siberia, Russia area, and there's a war, and men are right now busy in the war. But I'm hunting for the oldest plant right now. I am actually put all my resources into trying to find in the forests. And again, I had men ready to go, but they've been called out for the war in Ukraine. But they're in that region we have where it started thousands of years ago. And I'm looking for that one special so we can have the oldest, and continue the life for that oldest genetic and seed. Yeah, I can't wait.
That would be incredible.
Yep.
Wow. Have you read like Anastasia and the Ringing Cedars? Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that. It's too much to go into right now, but it'd be something to look up because it is this woman, Anastasia, that talks about being lit up like you are, like being able to communicate with animals and living in the forest and having, all of your senses lit up because you're not toxified or poisoned in any way and your body's healed and in its actual God frequency and harmony. So
I want to mention something here. It's very powerful. My family sent me to Mirwal, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. It's like a retreat kind of type of thing. And because they decided I work too much and they have to put me on vacation forcefully. So they successfully were able to execute that on my birthday last year. And I went on a session with horses. And the woman who was actually preparing the session, they actually taught us how the horses can't really see and they just really go by energy. So if they feel your energy is like anxious, they would run away from you. Or if you're afraid of something, they would run away from you. So they don't go based on vision or physical beings, they go based on energy. So when my time came up to go finally have a session with the horse from an entire group, I physically walked to the horse and I start communicating with my mind to this oldest horse from all of them. I wanted to have most experience, so I picked a horse that was like 30 years old. And what happened is I physically was in my mind and my heart, I opened my heart and was telling the horse how I'm in desire to change the world and to see so much love and people to be free and things like that. And I'm sharing deepest passions, and I'm not lying. Like, you can even call Marwell, this horse trainer. She never seen that too. I decided to put my hand, because I had my tears in my eyes, how much I was sharing with my horse, and the horse is like looking at me. So I put my hand on the horse, and the horse within seconds collapsed. And I thought I killed the horse. And I'm like, I'm staying at this beautiful, expensive resort, and I just killed the horse in my mind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just do now? And what actually happened, she immediately ran up to me and she said, what did you say? What did you think? What did you feel? I said, I don't know. I was just sharing my heart. Like, I was just telling everything to this horse, all my deepest secrets, my desires for the world and people and how I want to change things. And she says, do you aware that horses don't drop like that unless they feel unconditional love? Like, this is like one of the kind of history lifetime thing. It doesn't, they need to feel so much energy of love in order to fall asleep immediately and drop and collapse. I'm like, really? Because I thought I just killed the horse. And like, I guess it's a positive thing. Like, she finally felt so much love. This horse. And it's just, that tells you that we, our people, have that way to communicate, even with the animals. I was able, And I couldn't believe it. So I had to go Google myself. I was like, this is really real? Like horses can fall asleep immediately only if they feel unconditional, unlimited, and powerful love. And that's exactly what I find out based on my research. And I'm like, whoa, this is powerful. So people are powerful. Unlock your heart, unlock your brain, follow your gut feeling, and you're gonna see how your life is gonna start shifting.
That story is so beautiful. It reminds me too of, I went to a resort like that outside of Tucson, and we did plant medicine, but we also worked with the horses so that you could see like their biofeedback. I mean, I grew up on a ranch riding horses, and so I had more experience, but you can communicate and link up, kind of like an avatar, when they link up the hair with the animal. But when you aren't chaotic, when you're not thinking about, the phone or the computer or all of this mess, you're just tapped in to your heart and you're calm and you're peaceful, you can connect in with those horses, and then you can communicate with them and every single other animal on this planet, including insects and hummingbirds and butterflies and
Plants.
Plants, especially. The plants will tell you what they need from you, and you can tell them what you would like from them. You can offer, I will help you. What do you need to grow better? They'll tell you. They don't tell you like in English and like, oh, well, here's Robin, baking soda. It's like you get this feeling that comes through you, and it will just pop in at some random moment. And it's like, that's what it is. That's why we're doing these things, I think. And that is why we want to get these toxins out of our body. That's why it's important for me to give up my love of coffee. That's why it's important to be lit up in your power, because life is so incredibly blissful. Just me taking a hike, it feels like I'm in heaven. I just see the grasses flowing and moving and making these sounds. And because I don't listen to their music either. I don't listen to mainstream music. I am so careful about what goes in my ears and in my eyes and all of those things. So then you're not interfered with your God's potential. Like you are then an original human. I think this is why, and again, I'm sorry, we go on forever, but that is so cool about the horse, and that like mine, I just was able to communicate, stop and go. Like mine didn't fall down because of unconditional love, but wow, that is so powerful. That is so powerful that imagine more of us being able to do this and tap into that, and just speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. So thank you so much for sharing your heart, for sharing your passion, for sharing all this hemp, this understanding of hemp, why it matters, because everything matters. Everything matters. Everything matters, that what we put in our bodies, on our bodies, around our bodies. And so to find something, I am so excited that I found something that I would approve, because I don't put anything on my body. I don't take anything. I'm against all supplements now because I don't know what's in them. It's like, this is a white capsule. It could be anything, literally anything. The FDA does not care about you. The government does not care about you. There are no guidelines or testing. It's, it's somebody handed them a check that they liked, and so then they put it on the market. That's it. So with that, thank you so much. All of the links for your hemp products. And if somebody wanted to work with you, let's say they're just beyond excited right now and they want to work with you, do you work personally, do sessions with people?
Yeah, we offer a Regenesis 369 session, but we do the consultation. We do first presentations first. So if somebody is interested, they're welcome to contact our customer service on nesashemp.com, and they will be forwarded to different team on a different department for Regenesis 369. So because Regenesis website is getting built and all our testimonials, which is hundreds and thousands of people will be speaking how their lives got transformed. So we're building the platform right now. And so it's not official yet. It's official, it's happening, as I said, but we never cared about marketing and things like that. So we cared all about results, and nothing else matters. So, but that we're getting to the point where we really want to create one platform where people can read and listen to others people's stories and lives and how their lives got changed forever. So yeah, it just contacting through nesashemp.com to customer service and ask for Regenesis 369. It would help to have some information and go from there.
Exciting. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you, Inesa, for lighting up this hour, for educating me. I can already tell my life is changing because of this meeting. So thank you so much for being on the planet at the same time. And we've got lots of work to do.
We got lots of work to do and I'm so excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.